When does spring training start? This is so impressive what the Padres have done. You look at the free agent acquisitions, and I mean the Padres record-setting payroll. Padres have now filled virtually every slot in their lineup, and getting Xander Bogaerts is obviously a critical piece of the equation for this season. Big bat joins a pretty good lineup, and for down road in case Manny Machado opts out, or who knows what the Soto situation will be like 2 years from tonight. But the signing of Matt Carpenter, this guy's a super utility guy. He was a rock solid contributor with the St. Louis Cardinals. Really good ball player, multi position. Got nicked up at the end of his Cardinal career. His numbers dipped. They let him on the market. He wound up with the Yankees after getting finally healthy, hit 305 with 15 home runs in about 2/3 of a season. Then he broke his foot, fouled the ball off it. Came back right at the end of the season, goes on the open market. Totally healthy, can play first, second, can play third, can play the corner outfield spots, loves to pinch hit, and he might even be your DH. I think that's a pretty good acquisition. So you add Carpenter there. They went and got Seth Lugo from the New York Mets. He's kind of like Nick Martinez squared. He can be a starter, he can be a reliever. He's come back from arm problems, had a really good season last year. Very competitive guy. I think a really good upgrade. The wild card in the whole thing might be the ex-Atlanta Braves pitcher, Julio Teheran. I mean, his career record is 78 and 77. Most of that pitching for a bad Atlanta team. Very good ERA. Had some health problems in his shoulder last couple of years. Bounced around. But the Padres have a history of helping guys coming off rehab and surgery. This guy can still pitch. Hey, I'd take him as my number 4 or number 5 starter. So suddenly we're sitting there with Lugo and Julio Teheran, and you say, wow, those guys are proven commodities at the major league level. And as a 4th and 5th starter, John, I think those are really good players. Sean Poppen was highly regarded the Arizona and Oakland A's systems, has not done it at the major league level, but at AAA has done pretty well. But, the Padres bring him in and you work with the pitching coach and maybe you reinvent some pitch that he hasn't mastered, and maybe it makes him a very different pitcher. David Dahl, I guess, is going to be part of the rotation in left field. He had a couple of really good years with the Colorado Rockies. Then he got hurt, kind of bounced around to Arizona. But he'll be rotating probably with somebody else in left field. Aaron Brooks was highly, highly regarded coming up through the farm system. Just never got it done at the major league level, has kind of bounced around. But when he was in the Cardinals organization, he was held in high regard. And before that, he with Toronto. So maybe there's something mystery there that they can, quote, unlock. And Pedro Severino is probably an insurance policy at behind home plate. Very good parts of his career with Milwaukee. Spent last year in Baltimore. Did get suspended 2 years ago for steroids, but has bounced back. Got a pretty good bat. In fact, the guys that are on the Padre roster right now at catcher, he's got the best bat of any of the 3 or 4 guys that are in there. So that's where they are right now. There's not much space left. I don't think there's very much money left in the payroll and the budget to go do anything else. But I do think getting Carpenter, who is a real vested veteran, and then you add in the combo of what they got with Lugo and Teheran, I like this Padre roster from top to bottom. Like I said, when does opening day start? Now, a couple of other notes. Will Myers is gone. Now, should the Padres have approached this differently? I'll just throw this at you, and you can argue with me if you want, but you'd probably be wrong. He signed with Cincinnati, 1 year plus an option. He took a pay cut from $20 million to $6.5 to sign with the Reds. And there's $1 million buyout if he doesn't invoke the option for the second year. He's going to hit. He's going to hit at Great American Ballpark. That's a bandbox. So he'll pop home runs there. And now, if he signed in Cincy for 6.5, why would not the Padres get him signed for 6.5 or 7? It's a huge cut from $20 million. So I was a little surprised at that. Brandon Drury is going up I-5. Padres tried. Some reason that they couldn't come to terms. Angels. Brandon Drury signs with the Angels, 2-year deal. This guy was a silver slugger utility guy. Boy, I would have liked to seen him stay here. And Eric Hosmer is gone. Boston released him. They DFA'd him. Today they released him, which means he's on the open street. He'll get a job somewhere. It won't be in San Diego. I just think there's too much history here that's kind of bad, the way this whole relationship ended up. and the fact that he also hit 254 in San Diego while making 20 mil per season. But he is on the open market, and he'll wind up somewhere, but it won't be anywhere near the kind of money he was making. However, the Padres owe $39 million to Eric Hosmer. They still owe him 3 years on the contract. And the Red Sox, who are, I guess, going into rebuild mode, dumped him. That doesn't say very much about Eric Hosmer's ability to play at the major league level or star at the major league level. He had good years in Kansas City. He never followed them up here in San Diego. All right, your turn. Argue with me.
Well, one of the things that I love about what the Padres are doing, it's so different than in the previous years. I mean, guys like David Dahl and Tehran and Matt Carpenter, we used to sign those guys, and those were our core players. And then we'd surround them with like these AAA, 4A guys. Now, these are the guys that kind of fill in the gaps. Some of them are like lotto tickets. You hope they can turn into something. The whole method of building this team, and we have a legit rock star GM. I mean, I'm on board with Preller. I think he's done some great things. He's made some mistakes. He's far from perfect, but I think what they're doing is right on track. They're not hanging on to those prospects like they're gold. They're using them as trade chips, and I like that strategy. As far as Myers goes, we all love him. He's been here for 7 years in San Diego, and he's part of the community. We saw him buying drinks in the gas lamp quarter, after the playoff games. I wish him the best, and I think that bandbox in Cincinnati is a great place for him to go. Put up some big numbers. It's only a 1-year deal, and maybe he comes back and gets a big contract to finish off his career. But Hosmer is done. Hosmer is done. I can't imagine anyone picking him up if maybe only just to fill a roster spot, knowing they'll have to pay the minimum salary.